The movie kicks off with a young guy named Shui Ying. He's out in the woods with his two uncles, Zonling and Tongsan, trying to catch some deer. They're getting ready to celebrate their clan's 10th anniversary. They come from a clan called Snow Eagle. In the evening, when they were going to party, suddenly two mysterious men came to attack their clan. These guys turn out to be Shui Ying's mom's brothers, and they're on a mission to bring her back to their clan. Shui Ying's mom ran away from her clan because they didn't like her marrying Shui Ying's dad. The two men were very strong, causing Shui Ying's father to die. When Shui Ying's mom sees what's happened, she decides to give herself up to her two brothers, just to keep her two sons safe from any more trouble. After that, Shui Ying and his little brothers end up living with his uncles. Shui Ying, he's determined to get strong and protect his mom, who's off somewhere. So he starts training with a spear, trying to get better at self-defense. Fast forward 12 years and Shui Ying is still working hard on his martial arts and spear skills, but none of the spears can handle his power, and he keeps breaking them. His uncles, Zonling and Tongsan, suggest they all head to the city to find a stronger spear. When they went to a weapons shop, Shui Ying didn't want the fanciest, brand new spear, because he had this feeling that there was some hidden power in that old spear, and he even gave it a cool name, the Snow God Spear. Later in the evening, Shui Ying was at home with his brother when they got some bad news. A group of bad guys from a demonic sect was coming to mess with their territory. Now, Shui Ying was the leader of the Snow Eagle clan, so he had to step up and deal with these troublemakers. He might not have any special magical powers, but he could sure handle himself with that spear. After taking down a bunch of those demon folks, his old rusty spear suddenly turned like new again after killing the demons. With his confidence boosted, Shui Ying decided to chase after the demons who were trying to run away. But he was just using his martial arts skills, and there were too many demons for him to handle all by himself. That's when a guy named Shu Bai showed up and gave him a hand. After they defeated the demons, Shu Bai, who was a teacher at Jianfei Academic, shared a bit of his spiritual power energy with Shui Ying and then went on his way. Turns out, Shu Bai went and met with the 5 Alliance sect leaders to tell them about the demon attack on Snow Eagle clan territory. Those Alliance leaders got worried that the demon sect might be up to something big, so they decided to investigate and find the demon sect's headquarters. They even told Shu Bai to head over to the Longsan Hall and report this whole situation. They also wanted to organize a competition to solve the case, and the winner would get a special plaque from Chairman Longsan himself. According to rumors, the black plaque is a magical object that can be used to find out any information. Shui Ying caught wind of a competition about this black plaque, and he got really interested. Because if he won, he could learn about where his mom was, and that was a big deal for him. Shui Ying and Zonling hurried over to the creepy place where the Devil sect and its followers hung out. They discovered that some people there were being controlled by a guy with a devil's flute. Shui Ying and Zonling tried to find the guy calling the shots, but they fell into a trap. A bunch of people led by a guy named Yutu, who had some serious spiritual powers, cornered them. Shui Ying, who was just good with martial arts, couldn't match up to Yutu's spiritual strength. He got hurt pretty bad. Luckily, a beautiful lady named Yujin showed up and used her spiritual powers to take down the Devil sect followers. Meanwhile, Zonling was duking it out with the mysterious guy in black robes, the one causing all the trouble. While Shui Ying was in bad shape, Yujin helped him hide in a cave to get better. Before long, Shu Bai appeared, using some time and space trick. He could see what went down earlier and found Zonling, who had passed out from the fight. Shu Bai gave him a healing pill, and Zonling woke up. Zonling spilled the beans that he'd come across a shady guy in a black robe who seemed to be one of the demon cult followers. At the same time, Yutu and his troops had gone back to the mysterious guy in black robes. They had to admit that they couldn't catch Shui Ying and had lost him. The robed guy wasn't having that, so he unleashed some spiritual power in the form of smoky stuff to track down Shui Ying, who was hiding. Yutu and his gang followed the smoky trail and found Shui Ying and Yujin in a cave. They didn't give Shui Ying much choice, so Shui Ying and Yujin had to make a quick getaway by jumping into a lake. Yujin used her spiritual power to dive deep, and they stumbled an ocean stone, which is a heirloom belonging to a Taoist temple sect that has long disappeared. This got them thinking, and they went deeper into the lake. Until finally, they found a secret passage, which led them to a place similar to a prison. Lots of chained-up demons were there, and even Yutu and his crew were stuck in the same pickle. Yutu was losing it when he realized the ocean stone had gone missing. Those demons got all riled up because of that ocean stone and wanted to attack Shui Ying and Yujin. Yutu and his man figured out that Shui Ying were in the same place, so they went after them. But just in the nick of time, Chu Bai and Zanling showed up to lend a hand, help them fight the black-robed man, Yutu, and his men. Chu Bai, who had some serious spiritual powers, made the mysterious black-robed man retreat from that place. The man then punched a hole in the wall, with the intention of drowning the whole place. Luckily for Chu Bai, he could teleport, so he got out of there in a very short time. Once they were out of the mess, Shui Ying asked Chu Bai if he could borrow the ocean stone. He wanted to show it to the Long San Hall as proof that they cracked the competition by finding the demon sect followers' hideout. Shui Ying spilled the beans about his real reason for joining the competition. He wanted that black plaque in Long San Hall to find his mom. Hearing this, Chu Bai allowed it, and they went to Long San Hall. Cut to the chase, they got there and met Chairman Wei, who was the leader of the Long San Hall. Shui Ying handed over the ocean stone that belonged to the missing Taoist temple sect and spilled the beans that the demon sect was up to something fishy with it. Chairman Wei handed over the black plaque to Shui Ying, but there was a catch. Shui Ying couldn't use it just yet because his job wasn't finished. Chairman Wei reminded them that they still didn't know what the demon sect was planning, so their next mission was to arrest Yutu, the leader of the demon sect followers. After that, they all decided to meet up with the 5 sect alliances to share their discovery of the ocean stone and plan their next steps. The deal was that Shui Ying and Yujin would tackle the mission while Chu Bai got ready to recruit new students for Janfei Academy, in anticipation of war with the demon sect. Shui Ying had a clever idea to let everyone know he was the head of the Snow Eagle clan and had the ocean stone. He figured if the word got out, Yutu and his crew, who were in the know, would come to try and take it back. However, Shui Ying had high determination and enthusiasm to capture Yutu, who was the leader of the group, so that his spiritual power emerged and was even able to match Yutu. Whereas previously, Shui Ying lost and was unable to fight Yutu. Shui Ying also could suck up all the natural spiritual power around him. With one powerful move, he made Yutu helpless. After taking care of Yutu, who was suspected of being part of the demon sect, Shui Ying headed straight to Chairman Wei to claim his reward. Chairman Wei, who had some cool space-time powers, used them to find Shui Ying's mom. Turns out, she was being held by the Moyan clan, her own family's clan. Armed with this new info, Shui Ying rushed back home to get ready for a rescue mission to save his mom. However, Shui Ying didn't want to tell his 2 uncles and his little brother about it. He was worried they might get hurt. So he kept it a secret. He got all the stuff he needed, like weapons and a map, and then sneaked out alone to save his mom. He was traveling all night when he ran into some traders who were having a bad time with some robbers. Shui Ying didn't just stand there. He jumped in to help. What's crazy is that he suddenly felt this strange power surging inside him, and he used it to defeat the robbers. After that, he kept on his journey and finally reached the Moyan clan headquarters. It was pretty easy for him to take down the guards there. Once he dealt with the guards, he came to a door that had some kind of magical seal on it. Behind that door was where his mom was locked up, but he couldn't break the seal, and he ended up hurting himself trying. Luckily, his spear had some sort of strong spiritual energy, and with just one attack, he busted the door wide open. He was so happy to see his mom again after not seeing her for 12 years. But that happy moment didn't last because this guy named Mo Yang-chun showed up. He's Shui Ying's uncle and the guy who killed Shui Ying's dad. Shui Ying was already hurt from breaking the seal, and he couldn't really fight Chun. That's when his mom stepped in. She made a teleportation portal so Shui Ying could get out of there and not get killed by Chun. When Chun saw what she did, he got super mad at her. Unexpectedly, Chun didn't lock up Shui Ying's mom, not because she had embarrassed her clan due to her marriage to Shui Ying's father, but because Shui Ying's mom used to be one of their clan members who was able to share her power, which was called the ancient blood technique. But after a big war 20 years ago, she lost that power and her spiritual energy. The reason she kept it a secret was because Chun was collaborated with the devil sect. Meanwhile, Zanling and Tang San just found out that Shui Ying left to rescue his mom. They rushed over to the Moyang clan to help him, but they got there too late. Shui Ying was already out cold. They scooped him up and took him home to get some medical help. Meanwhile, in the Longsan Hall prison, Yutu, who is suspected of being a follower of a devil sect, is seen being interrogated. Yutu, being all sneaky, lies and says he doesn't know anything about the devil sect's plans. He spilled the beans that some mysterious dude in a black robe made him do stuff, and this dude threatened to off him and his men if they didn't follow orders. Chairman Wei didn't buy it though. He decided to move Yutu to the general prison, hoping to draw out the black-robed guy. To make sure Yutu got there safely, Chairman Wei sent Kubai along with Yujin to keep an eye on the journey. On the other hand, there is this lady named Yue, and she just got back home with her stuff to sell. She was the person who was previously confronted by the robbers and saved by Shui Ying. However, Yue's father, Chairman Kong, who was the head of the clan, then scolded Yue, who had confronted by robbers. Chairman Kong didn't want Yue getting too involved in trading, so he decided to find her a husband to keep her safe. He already had a guy in mind that Yue had been promised to since they were kids. At the Snow Eagle clan, Shui Ying woke up, and even though he was still pretty weak, he got right back to training. He knew he needed to get stronger, especially to take on Chun. He also wanted to boost his spiritual power, so he thought about joining Zhangfei Academy and becoming a student of Chu Bai. Not long after, Chairman Kong and Yue showed up at the Snow Eagle clan's place, and the guy Yue was supposed to marry turned out to be Shui Ying. Chairman Kong spilled the beans that this was arranged when they were kids, but Shui Ying wasn't thinking about marriage right now. He told them he wanted to go to Zhangfei Academy to get stronger and save his mom. So he said his goodbyes to his two uncles and asked them to take care of his little brother, King Shi. Shui Ying, who was on his way to Zhangfei Academy, ran into a group from a Taoist temple sect who'd taken Yutu. But then these black-robed men from the devil sect showed up and gave Yutu some weird black energy that made him super strong. They had a big fight, but when the black-robed guy tried to save Yutu, he couldn't fight anymore. He backed off and ran away. Yutu, who got that black energy, couldn't handle it and passed out. Once things calmed down, Shui Ying wanted to keep going on his journey, but one of the Taoist temple sect disciples accused him of being a spy for the devil sect. They said he stole their ocean stone and pretended to find it again. So they made Shui Ying go with them to their temple to check if he was innocent. They got to the Taoist sect and met their leader. Shui Ying, who wasn't a spy, easily proved it. He stood up to all the Taoist sect disciples and explained that he found a bottle that belonged to a demon sect guy and took it from a lake. He also said the powder in the bottle could turn people into living corpses if they had anything to do with the demon sect. But it was just regular chili powder. Surprisingly, two Taoist sect disciples got scared and admitted they were spies for the demon sect. They even confessed to stealing the ocean stone from their own sect. At the same time, King Shi wanted to take Shui Ying's black plaque to the Longsan Hall to find out where their mom was. But Chairman Wade knew it was Shui Ying's and said no. He told King Shi that he needed to work on his inner and spiritual energy first because he was too weak to help their mom. Chairman Wei also handed over a painting of a spiritual master and told King Shi to go find this master without telling him where to look. King Shi was kinda lost on how to find this master, but he kept searching for days. Finally, he stumbled upon a guy who looked like the one in the painting. This guy was Master Bei, and he was teaching self-defense to his students. There was also a senior student named Jirong with him. King Shi figured out that Master Bei was the master chairman Wei mentioned. He introduced himself and asked to be his student. But Master Bei said he didn't take students and just walked away. King Shi was determined to get stronger, so he followed Master Bei to his place. He kept begging on his knees, saying he'd stay there until Master Bei agreed to take him as a student. In the evening, King Shi was still outside on his knees, so Jirong felt bad and brought him some food. Master Bei was getting annoyed because he could hear King Shi memorizing martial arts. Eventually, Master Bei told Jirong to bring King Shi inside to rest. Meanwhile, in the Toist Sect's prison, the seal that was holding Yutu suddenly disappeared and he escaped. But it was all part of a plan by Shui Ying and his buddies. They let Yutu go so they could secretly follow him and find out where the Black Road guy, Tan Yun, was. And they did manage to tail Yutu to a meeting spot they thought was with Tan Yun. But it turned out Tan Yun was there to off Yutu, thinking he'd joined forces with the Rav sect. Chu Bei tried to catch Tan Yun, but he slipped away. Afterward, they met up with the two sects from the 5 alliances and gave them some coins they got. When those sects saw the coins, they realized they belonged to the Knife of Blood sect. This sect used to be part of the Guardian sects, like the 5 alliances, but left because their new leader got too greedy. So now they plan to visit the Knife of Blood sect to dig up proof that they've been working with the Devil sect all this time. On the other hand, Tan Yun returned to the Demon sect's headquarters and faced with an official named Lan. Tan Yun told him that he had done what he was told and killed Yutu. Then, Lan told Tan Yun to take this creature they had created earlier to a place called the Demon Hall. This place is like a door between the human world and the demon world, and it's where they sealed the body of the Demon King. Now the area where this Demon Hall is has become off-limits, and different clans from the 5 clan alliances take turns guarding it. Right now, it's the Sila clan's turn to watch over it. The Sila clan is led by a woman named Linan and her 2 nephews, Han and Barong. One evening, Barong and his friends were having a good time when they got attacked by the demon army led by Tan Yang. The attack messed up the seal they were guarding, and the Sila clan had a tough time but eventually won. The next morning, the leaders of the 5 alliances found out that the Demon Hall had been attacked. They rushed over to fix the seal and punished the Sila clan by making them the permanent guards because they thought they weren't doing their job right. After Lian got punished, she talked to her nephews, Han and Barong. She explained that they couldn't argue because the Sila clan was still not as strong as the Toist sect. So, Lian asked them to go to Janfei Academy to become more powerful and not be oppressed anymore as clan successors. Once they fixed the Hall of Souls, Han and Barong continued on their journey to the Knife of Blood sect. Over at the sect's temple, Tan Yun was looking for medicine to treat his wounds. The sect leaders showed up, and Tan Yun hid from them. The sect's leader, Wan Yang, acted like nothing happened and didn't help the Alliance sect leaders at all. They ended up fighting with Wan Yang, and during all this, Shui Ying and Yujin were searching for Tan Yun. But they got attacked by the Knife of Blood sect members instead. In the end, the Alliance sects didn't find any evidence that the Knife of Blood sect was part of the Devil sect, so they apologized and left. Tan Yun, who had been hiding, came out and thanked Wan Yang for helping him. Meanwhile, Shui Ying arrived at Janfei Academy to take the entrance exam. He met other potential students from different clans, including Yue and her brother Hao Bao from the Kong clan. Han and Barong were there too, following Lian's orders to train at the academy and boost their cultivation level. They all had to take a test at Janfei Academy, and to open the entrance, they had to solve a symbol puzzle. But when they stepped on the symbols, it messed with their heads and put them in a kind of daydream. Shui Ying was sharp and figured out it was an illusion trap. He woke himself up and then helped everyone else snap out of it. Once they were all awake, they had to step on the symbols in the right order that they appeared. In the end, they passed the test and got into the academy. So, they officially became students at Janfei Academy. Their first lesson was about these crystal stones and how to use their energy. Chu Bai, their teacher, showed them how it worked and then had them practice using the stones. After they got the hang of it, a lady named Xiao Qiao, who was in charge, asked them to show what they could do to see how well they mastered using energy. The next day, Chu Bai taught them a trick to float in the air, which would help them move and fight up there. But right after class, some black-robed guys, who seemed to be from the demon sect, showed up and attacked the students at Jianfei Academy. During the battle, Shui Ying sensed something odd and asked Yujin to check it out. Turns out these guys were actually their older classmates dressed like members of the devil sect. Chu Bai had told them to do this to test the new students. After studying at Jianfei Academy for a few days, the students got some free time to explore the city. While wandering around, Shui Ying saw some disguised demon folks heading somewhere. He got curious and asked Yujin to follow them. They ended up in a forest and saw the demon going into a portal. Shui Ying and Yujin tried to stop them, but it sucked Shui Ying into the portal. Han and Barong, who saw Yujin and Shui Ying rushing off, followed them when they realized something was up. They found out what happened and tried to find Shui Ying. Now Shui Ying found himself where Tan Yun was gathering all these demon folks. Tan Yun spotted him and attacked. Shui Ying lost the fight and got thrown back into the portal. But Tan Yun got hurt in the process, especially his left eye. Tan Yun decided to go back to headquarters to get his wound treated. Meanwhile, Shui Ying was pretty banged up. Luckily, his friends found him and brought him back to the academy for treatment. The next day, Shui Ying and Yujin decided to head back to the city since Shui Ying was feeling better. He wanted to buy some crystal stones to help with his recovery. But when they got there, they found out that a group had bought up all the crystal stones. Shui Ying got suspicious of this group, so he, Yujin, and some other students decided to follow them. They kept following this group until they entered the Dao clan's territory. Shui Ying then sent Hao Bao back to the academy to tell Chu Bai what they found. Meanwhile, Shui Ying, Yujin, and Yue decided to investigate further. They pretended to be from the Kong clan, who were known trading partners with the Long Dao clan. With this disguise, they managed to get inside and attacked the guards. Yue used her spiritual technique to find a secret door that led them to where Tan Yun was hiding in the clan's fortress. While they were eavesdropping on Tan Yun and the Long Dao clan leader's conversation, Tan Yun figured out where they were, so they had to face Tan Yun head-on. At first, Shui Ying and Yujin could hold their own against Tan Yun, even pushing him into a tight spot. But things took a turn when Tan Yun transformed into a demon and absorbed the Long Dao clan leader's power. He turned really fierce and attacked Shui Ying, and the fight ended up destroying the Long Dao clan fortress. Shui Ying had to keep fighting Tan Yun while also saving his friends from falling buildings. After a bit, Chu Bai and Hao Bao arrived and used teleportation to rescue everyone. Meanwhile, Tan Yun tried to make off with a bunch of crystal stones he collected earlier, but Chu Bai managed to nab the stones. He took the stones to meet with the leaders of the 5 alliances, and they decided to keep them. As for Tan Yun, he went back to the demon headquarters and reported what happened to Alan and Priest Gong. It turns out Brand was behind a plan to revive the sealed Demon King, and they needed those crystal stones to open the seal's portal. A while later, Shui Ying was seen training at the academy. Chu Bai and Cao Cao walked by and gave Shui Ying a crystal stone to help him stabilize his spiritual energy. Meanwhile, Barong watched from a distance and misunderstood the situation. He thought Shui Ying was getting special treatment from their masters. Barong told his brother, Han, about it, making Han jealous of Shui Ying, even though Han had been training hard and wanted to impress the masters. Barong came up with a plan to make Han stronger than Shui Ying. The next day, Barong challenged Shui Ying to a fight, but it was just a trick to get Han to fight Shui Ying. During the fight, Barong pretended to be hurt by one of Shui Ying's attacks. Han fell for it and challenged Shui Ying to a fight to avenge Barong. In the middle of the fight, Chu Bai stopped them, and Han realized that Barong had been pretending all along, but he couldn't bring himself to apologize to Shui Ying for what Barong did. Shortly after, Shui Ying approached them and apologized to Barong for the earlier fight. In another place, Alan approached Shun, to ask his clan to make a powerful weapon that could harm the leaders of the Five Alliance sects. Chun then went to a blacksmith clan, known for making weapons for his clan. He asked them to create these divine weapons using sacred blood crystal stones as the base material. However, the blacksmiths refused, explaining that they needed an additional ingredient, ancient blood, which was much more potent than the sacred blood crystal stones. Upon hearing this, Chun brought Shu Ying's mother to the blacksmith clan because she possessed ancient blood. But she refused, knowing that the divine weapon would be given to the demon sect. Instead, she unleashed her power and destroyed the place. Frustrated, Chun returned to the demon sect headquarters and informed Lan that the blacksmith clan couldn't make the divine weapon. He suggested buying one from the Kong clan, known for selling antiques and weapons, including divine ones. Chun went to the Kong clan headquarters to buy divine weapons at a high price. After acquiring these weapons, Lan led an attack on the Kud City sect to reclaim the crystal stones taken by the Five Alliance sects. During the battle, Chun Li, Chao Chao's younger brother, defended the crystal stones against the demon sect forces. With the power of the divine weapon, Lan easily seized control of the Kud City sect and took Chun Li hostage. However, the crystal stones were in a secure location that only Chun Li and Chao Chao could access together. Chao Chao, who had just returned to his sect, was shocked to see Chun Li held captive by the demon sect. Forced to cooperate with Lan, Chao Chao unlocked the storage with the crystal stones. However, instead of handing them over, Chao Chao triggered a massive energy explosion with the stones, knowing it would likely kill her. She created a portal to save Chun Li from the blast, but Lan survived with injuries. Lan, who could read his opponent's memories, discovered that some crystal stones were hidden in the Sea God Palace sect, not just in the Kud City sect. The leaders of the Five Alliance sects learned of this and held a funeral for Chao Chao. Meanwhile, the demon sect seized the opportunity to attack the Sea God Palace sect and took the remaining crystal stone. When Shu Bai learned of the attack on the Sea God Palace sect, he teleported there with others to protect it. Sadly, they were too late, and Lian had already taken the crystal stones. Shu Ying and Yujin spotted Tan Yun and pursued him to the Black Wind Ravine, where a fight broke out. But when more warriors arrived, Tan Yun destroyed the platform, causing Shu Ying to fall with him. The sect masters, unable to help Shu Ying, returned to the Sea God Palace sect and discovered a fragment of a divine weapon. They decided to investigate how the demon sect obtained this weapon. Meanwhile, King Shi heard about Shu Ying falling into the Black Wind Abyss and rushed to help. However, Jirong stopped him, warning that this place was extremely perilous and no one had survived to fall into it. At the same time, Yujin and others were trying to figure out who sold the divine weapon to the demon sect. They visited weapon shops in the city, but couldn't find any that claimed ownership of the weapon. Yujin, still believing that Shu Ying was alive, researched the Black Wind Abyss in the library. She found an ancient record on how to descend the abyss using a wind-breaking tool, even though it was a risky method. Determined to find Shu Ying, Yujin eventually located him, trapped and unconscious. In the demon sect, Lan reported obtaining some crystal stones to the demon king, who now resided in Priest Gong's body. Lan also mentioned Tan Yun's death in the Black Wind Abyss, prompting them to search for a replacement among the sect's priests. Back at Jianfei Academy, Chu Bai received news of Yujin's disappearance, along with some senior disciples. They launched a search in the academy and found a devil's bell, an unusual occurrence that suggested potential infiltration by traitors from the demon sect. Chu Bai promptly reported this to the leaders of the Five Alliances, urging caution against possible demon sect attacks. In the end, they decided to set up a barrier seal around the academy and ordered the students there to patrol in turns. The worst fear of the leaders of the Five Alliance sects came true when Barong was suddenly abducted by a mysterious black figure while on patrol. Upon learning of this, Chu Bai ordered the disciples to stay within the academy and strengthen the protective barrier. However, Han, driven by his desire to help Barong, secretly broke through the barrier, putting the academy at risk. As a result, Chu Bai punished Han, requiring him to continue practicing until he realized his mistake. Meanwhile, Shui Ying and Yujin, still trapped at the bottom of the Black Wind Abyss, saw two unknown individuals passing by. Suspicion led them to follow the pair to a cliff, which turned out to be the entrance to the secretive Black Wind Sect, a closed-off group rarely known to the public. They ventured inside and met the sect's leader, who initially attacked Shui Ying, not to harm him but to assess his cultivation level. Upon discovering that Shui Ying hadn't reached the saint cultivation level yet, the Wind Sect leader ceased the attack and instead handed Shui Ying a scripture on a fire god's secret technique. He explained that to leave the Black Wind Abyss, Shui Ying needed to learn this technique and attain the saint level, as only those at that stage could escape. Unbeknownst to Shui Ying and Yujin, the leader of the Black Wind Sect was actually Priest Gong, disguised as the Devil Sect leader. Meanwhile, King Shi and Zhirong had returned to Master Bei's residence, where King Shi requested to learn the spiritual science of lightning. Simultaneously, Shui Ying diligently practiced the fire god technique as per the Black Wind Sect master's request. Surprisingly, Shui Ying mastered the technique in just one night. The Black Wind Sect leader then offered to help Shui Ying advance to the saint stage, with the condition that Shui Ying would serve him loyally once he achieved that level. Shui Ying immediately turned down the offer, but remained composed to avoid arousing suspicion. The Black Wind Sect leader also invited Shui Ying to stay within their territory, explaining that only those who had reached the saint cultivation stage could enter or leave. However, Shui Ying and Yujin had their doubts about the place, prompting them to explore further. Their actions were quickly discovered by two members of the Black Wind Sect, leading to a confrontation. Unable to take on all the opposing forces, Shui Ying and Yujin decided to hide in a secret training room that had been unused for decades. Yujin shared her energy with the weakening Shui Ying, and suddenly they sensed a powerful energy disturbance in the vicinity. Meanwhile, Yue returned to her home with Hao Bao to investigate the sale of divine weapons. Yue suspected her own clan's involvement and secretly checked her father's office. She overheard a conversation between her father's assistant, Xian, and someone collecting money. Yue learned that the Kong clan had indeed sold divine weapons, but she and Hao Bao were unexpectedly captured by Xian. Fortunately, Hao Bao managed to free himself and quickly used his spiritual power to rescue Yue from captivity. That night, the two of them went undercover to uncover the identity of the person to whom the divine weapon of the Kong clan had been sold, eventually learning that it was Chun. Turning back to Shui Ying and Yujin, as they sensed their conditions improving slightly, they continued their journey to find an exit from their predicament. However, they once again encountered and battled the Black Wind Sect leader and his forces. During the confrontation, Shui Ying sustained injuries but in turn tapped into his hidden strength, reaching the saint level of cultivation. This event even triggered a celestial phenomenon, signifying the birth of a new holy level warrior on the Chinese plains. Realizing Shui Ying's newfound strength, the Black Wind Sect leader didn't stay idle. He launched a covered attack to disrupt the energy flow in Shui Ying's body, halting his cultivation process midway and rendering it imperfect. After escaping the Black Wind Abyss, Yujin hurried to return Shui Ying to the academy and shared what had transpired. However, a thorough examination revealed no traces of holy cultivation energy in Shui Ying's body. The sect leaders became aware of a suspicious sect in the Black Wind Gorge and decided to investigate further. In another place, Hao Bao and Yue continued their investigation within the Moyan clan's territory. Posing as guests sent by the Kong family, they successfully obtained information about the Blacksmith clan's location from Chun. Back at Jianfei Academy, Shui Ying's condition was gradually improving. He decided to return to the Black Wind Gorge alongside the two sects of the Five Alliances. However, upon reaching the Black Wind Sect's palace, they discovered that the sect members were no longer present. Shui Ying and his companions searched the area and stumbled upon Barong's keychain, a sign that the kidnapped academy students had been held there. They also noticed a massive crack at the bottom of the ravine, prompting them to investigate further to find out who could create such a fissure. Not everyone possessed this capability, not even the leaders of the 5 sects. Chairman Wei, the head of the Longsan Hall, provided a list of 5 individuals rumored to possess immense power. However, many of them had passed away, leaving only 2 survivors: Shui Ying's mother, who had long been imprisoned in the Moyang clan's jail, and Lian, whose strength had been drained after defending the Demon Hall against the Demon Sect's attacks. Chairman Wei revealed that there might be one more individual in China possessing incredible power, a reclusive master who rarely interacted with the world. Unexpectedly, the person turned out to be Master Bei, who had been King Shi's teacher. This information raised suspicions among those present. Wang Zi, the head of the Sea God Palace sect, believed that this mysterious master could be his senior, who had assumed the identity of Master Bei and vanished from the martial world many years ago. 2 decades earlier, Master Bei had been set to become the leader of the Sea God Palace. However, during a major conflict, he had been afflicted by demonic poison, transforming him into an uncontrollable entity resembling a demon. In an attempt to preserve the sect's reputation, Master Bei had chosen to leave and go into seclusion. Upon learning this revelation, they hurried to Master Bei's residence, where King Shi and Shui Ying were finally reunited, despite the earlier belief that Shui Ying was dead. Upon meeting Master Bei, they voiced their suspicions, which angered him. As a result, he trapped them all in his spiritual dimension as punishment. Even though the sect leaders from the 5 alliances entered this dimension, they couldn't find a way to escape. However, Shui Ying eventually solved the puzzle, allowing them to exit. They then coordinated their efforts to detain Master Bei and take him back for questioning at their base. Meanwhile, Lan met with the Demon King to report a significant development. They had located the second portal that could open the demon dimension, following the one previously guarded by the 5 alliance sects in the Demon Hall. This new location happened to be in the territory of the Snow Eagle clan. Lan explained that this area served as a crucial connection point between the human dimension and the demon dimension. Upon hearing this, the Demon King instructed Lan to take immediate action and inform the 3rd priest, who turned out to be Jiram, a disciple of Master Bei. On another front, Hao Bao and Yu Wei, armed with information about the blacksmith clan linked to the Moyang clan, continued their investigation. Eventually, they discovered that the blacksmith clan was unable to produce weapons, prompting Chun to opt for purchasing weapons from the Kong clan. Back at Jianfei Academy, Master Bei remained in detention under the watch of the 5 alliance sect leaders. Han, eager to interrogate him, approached Master Bei. However, the demonic poison within Master Bei suddenly resurfaced, causing him to act in a devilish manner. Witnessing this, Wang Zi, who had just arrived, intervened by attacking Han until he lost consciousness. It was then revealed that Master Bei was a former colleague who had left the sect to live in seclusion. Wang Zi, in order to safeguard Master Bei from potential threats posed by the 5 alliance sect leaders, urged him to leave the place and return to his residence. This unexpected turn of events left the other sect leaders astonished by Wang Zi's decision. Meanwhile, Zhirong, who had received a message from Lan, found herself in the Snow Eagle clan's territory. Her mission was to assess the situation there and locate a second site for creating the Demon Dimension portal. Cutting to the chase, the students of Jianfei Academy regrouped at the academy. Hao Bao and Yu Wei then delivered their findings to the sect leaders. Chun had apparently collaborated with the Devil sect. This revelation stirred up blame directed at Wang Pei, the head of the Tao Mountain sect, as Chun had been his disciple. Although Chun belonged to the Tai Mountain sect, his insatiable thirst for power led him to study forbidden techniques from the demon sect, resulting in his expulsion from the Tao Mountain sect. Now, it was Wang Pei's responsibility to find Chun and bring him to justice. However, Chun, upon realizing Wang Pei's arrival, cunningly claimed that there was a Devil sect spy impersonating him and collaborating with the Devil sect. He hoped to divert suspicion onto this fictional spy, effectively clearing his name. Hearing this, Wang Pei had no choice but to remain silent, lacking any valid reason to punish Chun. He then left Chun's location without further action. On another note, Jirong, who found herself at the Snow Eagle clan's headquarters, started investigating the surrounding area and stumbled upon the grave of Shui Ying's late father. She suspected that this might be the location Al Lan referred to. Jirong promptly relayed this discovery to Al Lan, receiving orders to create a covert path for the demon army's entry into the area. Meanwhile, Shui Ying continued his training to replenish his spiritual energy. Han, observing Shui Ying's practice under Chu Bai's guidance, approached Chu Bai with a request for training to reach the holy cultivation level. Chu Bai declined, concerned that Han's impatience might lead to injuries. Han, driven by the desire to surpass Shui Ying and unwilling to wait, secretly accessed a forbidden library chamber reserved for Academy Masters. There he stole several self-defense books and attempted to study them, only to find that his body couldn't handle the techniques. The following day, Yujin and her fellow students were cleaning the library. Yujin was struck on the head by an object, triggering memories of her childhood when she was separated from her parents during a war involving a powerful individual with snow-related abilities. This revelation revealed that Yujin wasn't originally from the Tao Mountain sect, but had been taken care of by the head of the Tao Mountain sect since her childhood. Upon regaining consciousness, Yujin promptly informed Chu Bai about her memories. Chu Bai, upon hearing this, instructed Yujin to visit Leon. The memories indicated that the incident took place in the Devil's Hall, which Leon's clan was guarding. Accompanied by Shui Ying, Yujin headed to meet Leon. However, right at the academy gate, they unexpectedly encountered Chairman Kong. Chairman Kong took this opportunity to discuss Shui Ying's postponed arranged marriage with Yue. Shui Ying reiterated his opposition to the marriage, infuriating Chairman Kong to the point of wanting to harm Shui Ying for the public humiliation. When they eventually reached Lian's clan territory, two mysterious men appeared, targeting Yujin. Upon realizing the presence of Lian clan troops, the mysterious men fled. Shui Ying and Yujin met Leon and explained their student status. Although Yujin shared her purpose with Leon, no immediate clues emerged. Later, however, Leon learned that Barong had been kidnapped by a demonic sect, but surprisingly, Barong's older brother Han had kept this information hidden from Leon. On the other hand, Han continued his training in pursuit of his ambition to become stronger. Yet, as a consequence of his unauthorized access to the library, the masters punished him. Shortly afterward, Leon arrived at the academy and confronted Han for concealing Barong's disappearance. Meanwhile, Shui Ying and Yujin received a mysterious message threatening Yue's life, along with an address. When they reached the provided address, they discovered that the individuals holding Yue hostage were the same mysterious men who had previously attacked them in Lian clan's territory. Their true intention was to eliminate Yujin. The two mysterious men stated that if Shui Ying wanted Yue's safety, he had to exchange her for Yujin. Upon hearing this threat, Shui Ying and Yujin quickly devised a plan. Initially, Yujin agreed to trade herself for Yue, while Shui Ying and Hao Bao secretly incapacitated the two mysterious men and rescued Yujin. As it turned out, these two mysterious individuals were members of the notorious Knife of Blood sect, known for their expertise in assassination. To uncover who had ordered the hit on Yue, they purposely allowed one of the men to escape. Shui Ying and the group discreetly trailed him until he entered a shop owned by the Kong family. Eventually, they uncovered that Chairman Kong had hired the two mysterious men to target Yujin. Chairman Kong saw Yujin as an obstacle to Yue and Shui Ying's arranged marriage. This revelation left Yue embarrassed by her father's actions, prompting her to apologize to Yujin. Meanwhile, Jirong, who had been tasked by Al Lan to infiltrate demon soldiers into the Snow Eagle clan's territory, attempted to carry out her plan by adding a sleeping potion to the dishes she prepared for King Shi and others. However, King Shi accidentally dropped the food and quickly replaced it. Nevertheless, Jirong was determined not to let her plan fail and returned to the kitchen to prepare new dishes laced with the sleeping potion. While everyone in the Snow Eagle clan was sound asleep due to the sleeping potion, Jirong took the opportunity to open the gates, granting Lan and his troops access as they had been waiting. Jirong then led them to the late Shui Ying's father's grave, where they intended to perform the ritual to open the demon dimension portal. However, King Shi, who was supposed to be in slumber like the others, suddenly awoke and sensed the presence of intruders in his territory. King Shi rushed to his father's grave, where the demon sect troops launched an attack. Luckily, King Shi had received martial arts training and learned the art of lightning manipulation from Master Bei. This allowed him to defeat and dispatch the demon sect soldiers. Realizing that their second plan was on the verge of failing, Lan instructed Jirong to employ a dream technique to make King Shi believe that the intrusion of demon sect troops into his clan's territory was merely a dream. Following the failed attempt with King Shi, Lan had to report the incident, which left Priest Gong quite furious. His sect's soldiers, who were prepared to open the demon dimension, had been defeated by a mere child. Undeterred, Lan devised a new plan, kidnapping students from Jianfei Academy. With an upcoming holy cultivation examination, these students had higher cultivation levels than regular citizens, making them more formidable as demon soldiers, less susceptible to being easily vanquished. Lan infiltrated Jianfei Academy and encountered Chu Bai meditating. Lan revealed that he possessed Cao Qiu's sealed soul and claimed he could revive Cao Qiu using his demonic technique. However, the condition was that Chu Bai had to pledge allegiance to the Devil Sect, and thus the Snow Eagle Lord's story unfolds. The moral lesson from the story is that deception and betrayal can lead to unexpected consequences and conflicts, and one should always value honesty and trust in relationships to avoid unnecessary harm and chaos.